Hey, sports fans, Eric Meyer here, Instructor Summit, NASA Great Lakes. We're going to do some Autobahn Country Club review from the NASA Great Lakes HPD 3 and 4 drivers. I'm going to do a quick combination of personal review for you, if you're the driver, and a learning opportunity. We're going to teach data as well. So these are going to be a nice series of very short, quick videos using Apex Pro, which is our standardized device for NASA Great Lakes. Right there, there's a new one in the box. There's a suction cup. We'll get into that later in another video, but let's get started. Okay, so I am, sports fans, gonna use the actual iPhone screen. And this is what your device looks like, right? So we want to use this so that you can see exactly what I'm doing so that you can repeat. Okay. So here we go. First thing I want to do is I go to About and I take a look at the latest software. I can't recommend enough how to go back to the iOS App Store, your iPhone App Store, and always check to see if there's an update. Andrew Rains and the team, Austin Baker, all the whole guys, Ross, are all doing frequent updates. So you need to have the latest iOS software, the latest update. So check that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to data right there in the middle. You can see it right there. I'm going to push that. And at the top of, I'm going to take a look at Dave Stewart's data. And you can see right here that he's put in the vehicle of his GT4 Porsche. And that's in the notes section. So I highly recommend that when you do this, you put your car in here so I know what the heck's going on, and others do as well. When you can put weather and any kind of setup information. Hey, I was running sticker tires. Hey, I was running bald tires. That's helpful because a week, a month, a year from now, you're going to go back to that data, or I'm going to need to know it as well. So here we go. We got a Porsche GT4. So I'm going to click on this right here. We're going to load the data. This is what yours looks like. Got my thumb on the scroll down here. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to and look at his various lap times. Right, looks like some high 36s and looks like some mid 36s. The guy's hoofing it, man. He's rocking some 37, got some good laps. I'm gonna pick that darkest green one, and that darkest green one is the best lap on here, the best lap time. And here's what I'm gonna do. That this arrow right here, let me get into some annotation software. This arrow right here, we're going to use this one a lot. And there's also another one that's going to come over here. And we're going to toggle back and forth. So these are the main two ones, the main efforts that I use and I would recommend you use. And here we go. I'm going to push on the right arrow. There's that blue arrow on the left next to the word distance. I'm going to turn the phone sideways. And here you go. Now, this middle dial right here, I'm going to suggest to you the two beginner data efforts that are channels that you'll get the most benefit out of are speed and long G. And I'm just taking my thumb and moving it right there, speed and long G. You want this pretty much always to be in distance. You can do time, but it's goofy. We're not going to get into that. Distance is 95%, if not 100% of what you're going to use. On the far right, you'll see of how the track is colored, right? The actual lines are colored. And you can do it by some neat stuff. Speed, and you can see that down here, I'm going to take the slider on the bottom for the little blue. You can see right here, that color is kind of orangey, right? Meaning low speed. If it was really, really, really low, it would be red, because the spectrum of values is red is low speed and green is high, as you can see that up here, and yellow is in between. So that's for the speed right here. We can also do it by long G, and long G is the same thing. There's braking values are red and acceleration values are green and yellow is in between. In other words, braking, we're coming off the brakes and we're going back to throttle, right? And it's just the color. For what we're doing here, we're going to make it super easy. I like to go all the way right here and put blue because it has some really easy contrast. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what you need to look for. By the way, I've spent a few minutes looking at his data, and I'm doing a summary format. So Dave and I, actually I know a lot more about his data, but for the purposes of what we're teaching and what I'm teaching and what you need to know, we're gonna keep it really simple. So let's talk about this again. Where are we at? Well, swipe left and there's the track map. We started, we hit the little blue arrow. We turned it sideways. We made sure this was on distance. Speed, remember speed and long G are the main ones you're going to use. And I did a contrasting color. You can see green's a little bit harder to see. I like blue. Okay, so I'm using the slider with my finger on the bottom. And we're looking at a whole lap. Remember, way over here is the start, and way over here is the finish. And if you put the cursor right here at the top of this, and you go over here, please. Excuse me, you go right here. This value is the same as this value up here, right? Do you see that? So you can get a actual value, just like putting the cursor right here at the bottom, right there, which is here. It's just 53 miles an hour, and that's a 53-mile-an-hour corner. Time altogether. It's a great way to learn. And if you like to learn even more, check this out. Some people are visual learners. I'm going to turn the phone sideways. I'm going to keep that cursor right here, which is right here, which is right here on the map, which is right here. Everybody's seeing all those connections. I'm going to turn the phone vertically. I'm going to swipe to the right. I'm going to go right in there. There's that same cursor, and we're just zooming in right there at that exact spot on the track. And our apex score value, which we'll get into that a little bit later on a future video. So you can tie all these things together. And look at that. Andrew Rains is calling. We'll get back with you in a second. Hey, what's going on? Let me see if I can get you on this right here. Do you got me?
Yeah.
I'm recording the Zoom right now, and you just happen to call. How cool is this?
What are you recording?
Dave Stewart's we're doing a little video of Dave Stewart and his awesome GT4 Porsche. So say hey to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I'm gonna have to call you right back. Is that okay, brother?
Yeah, that's okay. Get rid of those curvy tops on a sawtooth.
He's got too much sawtooth. We're gonna talk about that later.
Uh-oh.
Yep, it's all good. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
All right, bye. Okay, we're back. How funny is that? We're gonna go back. Oops, we're gonna go back right to here. We're gonna turn the phone sideways. Right, cursor still in the same point on the track. All right, right down here. Right down here. Right down here. 52 miles an hour. Let me tell you what I see. These shapes right here are called sawtooths. And Andrew Range just talked about that. A sawtooth. And this is an indicator of a very assertive braking, a very confident and inserting brakes. When Dave is going to the brakes, I can tell right here, he's going boom, boom, smack. He is on the brakes hard. Matter of fact, this is so hard, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually at his detriment. And the reason why I say that is because some of these you don't want to be so abrupt. So now we're talking about corner types. And as an example of this, think about right here, turn 4 at Mid-Ohio. That is not a threshold braking corner. It's not. It is a high speed, and we're going to go right here to show you that corner. I'm scrolling back right here. That is in this particular case, his apex speed is 76 miles an hour, right? We see that here. We see that here. You get up to those kind of speeds and think of turn 1 at Mid-Ohio. You're just braking really lightly and coming off the brakes. What we have here is on Dave's approach right here at 105 miles an hour, right? He's going to brakes, and he's going to brakes assertively, too assertively. This has got to be gentle. So right now I can tell just by looking at the tops of these that his brake application, and by the way, I confirmed this with Mike Job, who rode in the car with him. Man, he goes to brakes. His car will do it. He's actually over braking. His initial braking is too abrupt. His nose is going boom, super hard, which often leads to over braking because it's too it's not efficient. It's too almost inefficient because he's braking super hard. It's like a light switch that it is. You ever see the Eric Meyer coming at you right here, right here? You ever see Jurassic Park when they're down low and the main breaker is tripped and they're like priming the fuse box and they go clunk and like the whole place, the whole Jurassic Park, the power comes on. That's what his brake foot's doing. We just need a little switch, tiny little switch. In fact, we want a light switch with a little slider because when you get into faster corners, you want to feather the brakes. So right now I can tell you his opportunity is he's not a good feather breaker, but man, he is awesome in threshold braking zones. I'll suggest to you that these high speed corners right here and coming onto the front straight, he's probably one of the better ones on the track. Conversely, he's so good that it's a detriment to him. Is this making sense? Again, the way we saw this is all of them. So you don't want to see them everywhere. There are some cases where you just want to be gentle. Okay, so here's what we learned about his braking. The next thing, interestingly enough, has to do with his feet, and that's right here. Every single one of these is a V shape. V is in Victor. V is in Victor. The slower you go, the more of V that you want because you can trail brake the car. And that would be in here, right? That would be all of this area in here. And because of the approach, right in here as well. And so a V is appropriate. Like right here, really, really pretty. However, for the high speed corners, which will go back to our friend number 4, I'm using the slider down at the bottom. The faster you go, think of turn 1 at Mid-Ohio. The faster you go, the more you want a U shape because this is suggesting brakes, off brake hard. Off brake hard. You want a very smooth brake release, especially for a higher speed corner. So all of these right here, interestingly enough, we're going to look at those a little more closely. All of those have a brake release, throttle, back to brake, and throttle. So that's an over brake, back to throttle, back to brake, and then throttle again. Do you see that? Remember, this is the speed trace, and the speed trace doesn't lie. It's a result of what your hands and feet are doing. Does that make sense? So let's summarize to make this super simple. I'm going to open that turn 4 up, right? We want this to be a nice big U shape because when you have this little at higher speed corners, when you have that little V shape, that chassis is braking and then abruptly coming up. abruptly coming up. If you were entering Mid-Ohio keyhole and carousel, and you were to do that, and you had a rear wheel drive, heavy front end car, this car, remember it's a GT4 Cayman with the engine pretty much in the middle, great handling. That car would go right to push on entry as you go to throttle because the front nose is coming up. So you want that front nose to brake really hard and then slowly come up so it's a stable platform, right? You want to brake really hard, have the nose come up to a stable platform and roll into that corner. What you see right here, guys, are some really assertive feet. Too assertive. And again, for some reason, Dave has the belief that I got to be pretty assertive with both my feet. The braking feet right here, and now we're going to change color to green, actually, and going back to throttle. That is a heavy go back to throttle, and that is more often than not the sign of over braking. Why is he over braking? Because he's so strong at going to brakes. So if you're super strong in going to brakes, chances are you're over braking because you think that you need to have really fast feet, when in reality, as you go to brake quickly, you want that time to come off gentle. So that last 50% of your brake release, let's say this is full brake, this part right here to where you're barely putting pressure or you're lifting off the brake, that last 50%, you want it to be very, very gentle. Okay, does that make sense? Just like when you go to brake, that first little bit is just gentle to get the nose down and then just get on it. So it's not a super slam, which is probably what he's doing here because his GT4 can handle it. A little bit, this is microsecond stuff, a little bit, then really hard. You want that nose to come down and be ready and then give it a heck. There you go. Dave Stewart, thanks for volunteering your data. I'm Eric Meyer. Watch more of these videos using Apex Pro with a little help from our buddy Andrew Rains. And subscribe to this channel. Talk to you soon. Peace.